Hey everyone, it is Luke from Up North Collectors, and it is time for Turning a Profit Tuesday, episode number 6. This episode is going to be very heavy on basketball, and I'll explain that real quick. I think basketball right now is the market to be in terms of flippability. I kind of just made up that word. I don't even know if that's a real word or not, but you need a sport to be volatile. You need cards to be volatile in order to be able to flip them. In the short term and the long term, you can have long-term growth stuff, but I'm just trying to buy stuff and then within a year sell it quickly. And with that, you kind of need a sports season or some other outside force to cause price action to increase. And that, outside force is going to be the NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs and potentially the NFL are going to be two of the first, major sports that are going to start up here. Baseball is kind of iffy right now. I'm not really liking how it looks for baseball. So I'm kind of dumping most of my money into basketball cards as with the playoffs starting here pretty quick. I think if you buy the right stuff, you can definitely turn a profit. So first up, what I bought for this week, week of June 23rd, spent a total of $211.84. First pickup I made was for 2019-20 Panini Prism Tyler Herro Red, White, and Blues. Now I paid $15.88 per card, $63.54 for the 4 of them. $15.88 per card, that includes tax and shipping. That's a good buy. For a guy, as good as Tyler Herro is, I think he has a lot of talent. He actually had an okay regular season. It wasn't like insane, but was pretty solid for a first-year player. I think he's kind of a guy who could kind of come out in a couple years, almost like a Jason Tatum, who kind of catches on a couple years later. Not necessarily comparing his playing style to Jason Tatum, just saying that his card, price action could be similar to Jason Tatum. But I think with the Heat being one of the, kind of underdog teams in the East, with Bam Adebayo and Kendrick Nunn and Jimmy Butler, I think the Heat have a decent shot at going somewhere in the playoffs. And now all it takes for a card like Tyler Herro's Red, White, and Blue Prism, which is obviously a mainstream card, the Prism, and a parallel of that card, I always like to buy scarce cards that they make less of, just because you're saving yourself the risk of them being overinflated, sort of like a base Prism would be. Not necessarily that those are overproduced, but they do make a lot more of them than a Red, White, and Blue, which I'll show you in a second. My reasoning behind that. But I think Tyler Herro is a good buy because if he has one good game in the playoffs, his cards are going to jump. If he scores 25 points, has 8 assists, and makes a highlight play, his cards are going to jump because everybody is going to be watching the NBA playoffs. So I think he is a guy, I think he's a very solid player, and I think he will actually have a great career in the NBA. But I also think that he's a guy in the playoffs that his prices could jump massively. So next up, we've got his Panini Prism Hyper, Tyler Herro's Hyper Prism. The Hypers are actually a lot more rare than some people think. I really don't think they make that many of them. Compared to some of the other things, definitely way less than a Red, White, and Blue or a Retail Green. And I'll show you guys that second on the PSA Pop Report, which isn't, exactly, doesn't show you how many there are, but shows you how many that are graded, which can kind of give you an idea. There's not many on eBay. They're kind of hard to find. I've bought and sold some Hypers before, and they're really, when I had my Luka listed, I think I was the one of like 2 on the eBay, so there's not that many that'll jump up for sale, and when they do, they usually sell pretty quickly, so I think $35.99 for that card was a pretty good deal. Next up, I bought a lot of Tyler Herro. I bought 14 card lot, got 2 of his green rookies, another Red, White, and Blue, a base, a silver emergent, 4 emergents, and 4 instant impacts. So that rounds out to $3.02 per card, which I think is something. I bought it at a price that you can't really beat. I could definitely turn around right now and flip that. Could sell each of those red, white, or the one red, white, and blue for $15. His base cards sell for $20, which is one of the reasons why I bought the red, white, and blue. Is his base sell for more than the red, white, and blue, which seems kind of crazy to me. So I went and bought red, white, and blues instead of base, which could be a mistake, but I think in the long run that a red, white, and blue will have a little bit more value than his base card. But also the greens and stuff do well also. Next up on Instagram, I saw someone had a lot of 2020 Bowman. They had 115 of the top 100 prospects. This was a couple weeks ago, but I picked those up, got them to my house, and sold them the next day for $50. So I made a quick $9 profit, $9.40 profit after fees and shipping. That's the one sale I had this week. But I thought that just quick money, easy flip. I knew right away it was a good deal. Now I really only like to buy cards if it's something that I cannot beat, a price that I can't beat, just an absolute steal, great deal, or a card that I think has spikeability or is in a market that's very volatile and has a chance to go way, way up very, very quickly. So that's why I've been buying a lot of Tyler Herro, and that's also why I'll pick up random stuff like a 115 card lot of top 100 prospects, because that's just something that was a good deal and I knew I could make money on. Next up's another kind of interesting pickup. I picked up a 1819 Panini Prism Giannis Silver and a Tyler Herro Hoops rookie from a guy on Instagram. Paid $17.50 per card. Now I paid right around market value for that Giannis Silver. They go for right around that $30 range, $20 to $30. And I think that's just a card that if he goes, ham in the playoffs, they end up going to the finals, which a lot of people think they will. I think that card, will go up in value. Even though it's not his most desirable card, it's still a Prism Silver, which have been doing very, very well lately. I think it will go up. The Tyler Herro is kind of a throw-in in that deal. And I really like Tyler Herro, as I already talked about a lot. So those were the cards that I bought this week. Now I have some more that I have my eye on. I've been watching stuff. I've been kind of bidding on stuff on auctions. I obviously have a limit of a price I'll pay. And, once an auction gets above that, I'm not going to go chase that card. I'll find another one. Unless it's something really rare, really rare, or something that I think I will not see again at, an auction or on eBay, period. Other than that, I like to keep a budget and keep my, cost to a minimum. And I know exactly where I want to buy that card, and I will not go above that price. So into kind of the comps for some of the stuff I bought, and then my picks for the week here in a little bit later on. So just to show you what you can buy a Tyler Herro for, here is base cards. There's one right there, $14.99 plus $4.20 shipping. So after tax, you're looking at like right around $20.50, depending on what state you're in, around $20 probably. So it's give or take there, about $20 for his base card, $25. There's a lot listed higher. You could buy his PSA 6 for $20. Not really sure why you'd want that. But still. There's another one, $12.50 plus $4.50 shipping. You can see right there from that picture that card is terribly off-centered. So that's about what they're going for. Right around, I'd say just average it out to like $20. So that's what his base are going for. Now his red, white, and blues, here are the recent sold. Some of these were cards that I actually bought. But $13.50, $17.99, $15.99, best offer accepted, plus shipping, $14.66, so $15.95 with free shipping, $15 with free shipping. So you can buy these around the $15 to $17, maybe $20 range shipped. But I think overall, to have a card that's more rare than his base card significantly, but at a lesser price than the base, is going to be a good buy. I think, even if the red, white, and blue, which is by far, it's not the most popular parallel. People are not going out and trying to buy Zion red, white, and blues. They're trying to buy Zion silver. Same thing's going to apply to a Tyler Herro or anybody else like that. But I think the red, white, and blues are cool, and they definitely are more scarce, and I enjoy scarce cards because if the production starts going up and up and up, those cards with scarcity in the long run, long run, are going to hold the value. So now into the PSA Pop Report to show you, how the difference between his base card and his red, white, and blues and hypers. So here's Tyler Herro. This is the PSA Pop Report. This, if you don't know what that is PSA is a log of all of their graded cards. It shows you exactly how many are graded and exactly, what grade they got. So Tyler Herro's base, which is right here, there's 906 total that have been graded. 482 have been graded a 10. So almost 1,000 cards, not quite, right around that 900 range. But, there's still a lot at PSA, so probably get to that 1,000 mark pretty soon. That's a lot of cards to have graded, just a base card, obviously. It's nothing compared to like a Luka base or anything, but that still is a decent amount of cards to have graded. Now, if we scroll down here, the first one that's going to come up is his Hyper, which is going to be right here. Hyper Prism. There are 12 graded, 0 10s, and 11 9s and 1 8. So 0 10s of that card. If that card looks really good, I'm going to send it to get graded. If you get that 10, then you have a pop 1, which definitely increases the value of the card. But there's only 12. That is not very many cards. If you look down here, there's the Mojo. There's 2 of those. And that one's numbered to 25. So I would say that the hypers are pretty dang rare. They're definitely not numbered to 25, but I'd say they definitely make less than 500 to 1,000 of them. I'd say probably more towards that 500 range. So I think that's another pretty solid buy of his rookies. You look at the prices of Lukas and stuff, they're way up there in value. The hypers are pretty popular. So, and then if we scroll down even more here to his red, white, and blue prism, there are 92 total graded, 41 a 10, 41 a 9. So once again, I think, that's 92 to 900 is a big difference in terms of the PSA 10. So I think that's kind of my reasoning behind buying the red, white, and blues over the base, is just because of the scarcity of them. So into here, just to show comps on that Giannis, right around that $25, $30 range, which is right around what I paid for it. I think this card could jump up to around the $50 range. If he does very well in the playoffs. I sold a Lukas Silver recently from this year's Prism, which is the second year, so that does make a difference in the card prices. Definitely is not the same thing, but sold that for $85, I think. So I think having a Giannis, which is like his 3rd or 4th year, but in the Bucks uniform, obviously, could definitely go for upwards of $50 if he does very well in the playoffs. Next up is my picks for the week. I think this is a very solid one. I think if you go buy a bunch of Kawhi Leonard, you will do well in his Clippers uniform. Kawhi Leonard isn't necessarily the most collectible player, but the Clippers are good. And if the Clippers do well in the playoffs, I think Kawhi Leonard cards will go up, especially ones in his Clippers uniform, as Clippers fans and Kawhi fans are going to want a Kawhi card in his Clippers uniform. So obviously here's all the stuff now after the whole Toronto, his stint with Toronto last year, his stuff went way up. And it's still, some of the stuff isn't super cheap, but you can still find some deals for sure on this Kawhi stuff. I mean, there's a fast break, Kawhi, and a whole bunch of other Kawhis, under $25. So you could definitely, stretch your money pretty far with Kawhi. And same thing goes, I bought a bunch of Anthony Davis. I think he's exactly the same as Kawhi. Same situation. I think both those guys are good buys if you're looking for something that will go up if they do well in the playoffs, which I think the Clippers and Kawhi will. Next up is another guy. Now, this isn't necessarily for the playoffs, but I think in the long run, some of the stuff of Lonzo, he's going to be Zion's wingman as long as he doesn't get traded or something happens to him. He's actually gotten quite a bit better. His shot's improved. Him and his shooting coach there with New Orleans get along really well. So I think that Lonzo Ball's cards right now are actually a little bit undervalued and do have a pretty good potential of going up. So some of this stuff I would definitely look at picking up. Even, a card like this is Optic out of 175, win that on auction for under $50, $75. I think you can definitely do pretty well on that in the long run here. Same with some of these other cards in here as well. There's this Purple Refractor, his Flash, and there's a lot of Lonzo stuff listed. And I think if you buy up some of that stuff and you get it at a deal, I would not pay full price for this stuff. Some of the prices that people are asking for this stuff is definitely too high. But I think if you can get a deal, you can do pretty well with Lonzo. Next up is some more Lonzo. Now, this is kind of a weird one, but this is his Mosaic card. This is his first Prism card. Obviously, it's different than regular Prism, but it is his first Prism in a Pelicans uniform. So I think that if he does pretty well, and I don't believe they're in the playoffs. I could be wrong. Not exactly sure. But if he does well next year even, this card will go up in value. And you can get him really, really cheap, so not much risk there. And the last one is a rookie card that I'm pretty excited about. I am going to be buying some of this guy this week for sure. Once I can find some deals on him and do a little bit more digging. Donte DiVincenzo. His stats are quite solid. Good player for the Bucks, and I think the Bucks are going to go far in the playoffs. I think they have a very good shot at making it to the finals. Granted that everything goes as planned and doesn't get stopped by COVID, which will be kind of a wait and see thing. But his stuff is pretty cheap for Prism cards. I mean, Here's a silver for $56.99, green for $15.99, purple wave. This is one that I might buy. These cards are not common. Those are a tough pull out of retail. I don't know how many blasters we've opened. To get a rookie purple wave is just tough. But there's another silver at $45. So kind of similar to almost a Tyler Herro pricing. A little bit more on some stuff, but I think, and a little bit less on other stuff, but I think Donte DiVincenzo will be a guy to pick up here before the playoffs, as once again the playoffs are going to cause players' prices to go up and down, overnight basically. Donte DiVincenzo goes out, has a 30-point game, hits a buzzer beater shot, all of a sudden his silver prism is a $200 card. I've seen it happen before, and it would not surprise me if it happened again. And this is just a guy I think that you can pick up on a budget, get him cheap, just hold his cards till he has a good game or wins the finals, and then sell them and make quite a bit of money. So those are my picks for the week. That pretty much wraps up our video here. I'm definitely going to be buying some Donte as well as possibly some Kawhi and some other stuff. But I think Tyler Herro and some of these other basketball players are going to be the guys to get right now. I'm kind of holding off on baseball just because the news surrounding it isn't very positive right now. And I think overall baseball cards are going to be going down. If there's no season, you'll definitely see a downtick in prices. And with no season, it's going to be very hard to buy stuff and flip it, as there will not be as much volatility. It's not like the stock market where you can short stocks and stuff, so when they go down, you can make money, which is something that I've done quite a bit before. I actually did it last week with the stock market was shorting the market. And you cannot really do that with cards. So, I think that basketball right now is going to be the place that you can, definitely have the biggest return on investment. I think can definitely do the best in, as for right now. Baseball, I'd still be looking at picking up some of those sneaky guys that you can get for cheap, like Luis Reyes, but I would not be going out and buying like an Acuna PSA 10 or a Soto PSA 10 necessarily right now, just because I think those cards may go down a little bit if we do not have a season this year. Give it a few months, baseball kind of chill out. Focus will be on basketball in the NFL. So that wraps up my video for this week. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate your comments and the positive feedback I've been getting. So make sure to leave some more comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button. And if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe to our channel. So make sure you stay tuned for next week's Turning a Profit Tuesday video. Thank you for watching.